The valet line shimmered under strings of golden lights, every guest gliding through the front doors of the Bradford Grand Hotel like royalty. Every guest, except me, when I stepped out of the rideshare, clutching the gift bag I'd chosen with an embarrassingly soft heart. The security guard didn't even pause. Service entrance is around the side, he muttered, pointing without looking up from his clipboard. For a second, I thought he was joking. I looked down. My dress wasn't designer, but it was elegant. My hair was styled. I didn't look like staff. Excuse me? I asked. He lifted his eyes just long enough to decide I wasn't worth a second look. Family and invited guests go in front. Catering and cleaning staff use the service entrance. Family, invited guests. Funny how the words stung, even after everything. Even after my sister, Serena, had accidentally left me off the official invitation list. Even after the months of being ignored in the group chat, of being talked over in family dinners, of realizing that my success is quiet, slow, self-built, didn't shine the way theirs did, I almost corrected him. Almost told him that the hotel he was guarding, this entire marble giant, with its sweeping staircase and 3 ballrooms, belonged to me, but not officially. Not publicly. Not yet. Instead, I took a breath, squared my shoulders, and walked toward the service entrance. The hallway smelled like lemons and dish soap. Staff hurried past me, pushing carts of champagne flutes and trays of lobster crostini. I blended right in. Maybe that was fitting. I'd spent my whole life blending into a family that never noticed I was the one holding everything together, until the day I stopped. My silent purchase of the Bradford Grand 6 months earlier had been my final act of stepping out of the shadows. No press release. No family announcement. I wasn't ready then, but I was ready tonight. Serena's engagement party was the event of the season. Her future in-laws, the Whalens, were old money, polished, obsessed with appearances. They expected perfection, and perfection was exactly what they were about to lose, because when they chose to humiliate me, when they decided I wasn't worth a front door entry, my restraint snapped. I straightened, smoothed my dress, and walked into the staff corridor with one thought shaped like cold steel. Tonight, everyone would learn exactly who I was, and my sister's future in-laws would learn it the hard way. I slipped into the ballroom through the double doors used by servers. The music was soft, the chandeliers warm, and the entire room sparkled with money. It smelled like roses and expensive expectations, exactly what Serena lived for. And then I saw her. Serena stood on a small stage, a spotlight catching the shimmer of her champagne-colored gown. She was flawless, glowing, soaking in every stare like it was sunlight. Her fiancé, Bennett Wayland, tall and polished, stood beside her with the same perfect grin their engagement photos had plastered all over social media. My mother stood near the stage, wearing the same look she always wore when Serena was involved, an expression that said this is the daughter worth bragging about. My father hovered near the Whalens, nodding eagerly at everything they said. None of them saw me walk in. The irony burned. My family had never been cruel, not intentionally. Ignorance is its own kind of cruelty, though. Serena demanded attention, so they gave it. I preferred peace, so they gave me space, way too much space. I took a deep breath and scanned the room. Board members, local politicians, old money socialites, and not one of them knew that the hotel they were celebrating in belonged to the daughter who wasn't even invited through the front door. Spotted Bennett's mother, Elaine Wayland, pearl necklace, sharp eyes, posture like a queen. She looked me up and down. You there, she said, tapping my arm lightly. Champagne, please. The laugh that rose in my throat tasted bitter. Before I could respond, Serena finally noticed me. Her smile faltered, just slightly, before she covered it with sugary sweetness. Oh. You came. She brushed a hand over her gown, as if my presence might wrinkle her perfection. You should have texted me. I would have told security to let you in. You left me off the guest list, I wanted to say, but I didn't. Not yet. Instead, I smiled. Congratulations. She narrowed her eyes, sensing something she couldn't yet name. Serena was many things, but stupid wasn't one of them. Don't make tonight difficult, she whispered. I leaned in. I won't. Then I added softly, you will. Her shoulders stiffened, but I was already walking away. I wasn't here to cause a scene. I was here to expose one. In precisely 20 minutes, the truth would arrive, on stage, lit by a spotlight no one could ignore. The string quartet finished their piece, and Bennett tapped the microphone, calling the room to attention. Light scattered off crystal glasses as conversations quieted. "Thank you all for being here to celebrate Serena and me," he said, smiling. The crowd applauded, glowing with champagne-fueled affection. Serena stepped forward, radiant. "We are so lucky to have family and friends, and generous benefactors," Bennett added with a playful grin toward his parents. Stood near the back, hidden behind a floral tower, my fingers loosely wrapped around a glass of sparkling water. The general manager, Michael, had texted me minutes ago, "Everything is ready. Whenever you give the signal." I exhaled slowly, then the ballroom lights flickered once, twice. A spotlight snapped on, not on Serena, not on Bennett, on me. Confused murmurs rippled through the room. Serena's face froze, not with surprise, but with dread. She knew I didn't seek attention unless something was very, very wrong. I stepped forward. "Good evening," I began, my voice calm. "I'm sorry for interrupting." The crowd hushed instantly. "I realized most of you don't know who I am." "That's understandable. I wasn't exactly listed on tonight's program." Nervous laughter fluttered. Serena's hands twisted at her sides. "My name is Lila Bradford." A pause, "and I own the Bradford Grand Hotel." The silence that followed was sharp enough to cut glass. The Waylands stared at me as if I'd spoken in another language. Bennett's mouth opened, then closed. My father blinked in disbelief. My mother swayed slightly, gripping her clutch, and Serena, Serena, looked like the chandelier above her had dropped 3 inches. "I purchased the hotel 6 months ago," I continued, "but I preferred to keep it private. Tonight, however, I let my gaze drift to the security guard at the doorway. I was asked to use the service entrance. Because I didn't look like family." The room gasped. I thought it was time everyone knew who actually paid for this event location, and who wasn't considered worthy of walking through the front door. Serena stepped forward. "Layla, stop. You're embarrassing yourself." "No," I said quietly, "I'm revealing you." The lights brightened, and every pair of eyes shifted from me to her. Serena's cheeks burned crimson, not from embarrassment, but anger. A deep, visceral fury reserved for moments when her world stopped orbiting around her. "Lila," she hissed, voice trembling. "We can discuss this privately." "Privately is how problems like this stay buried," I replied. Bennett cleared his throat, trying to regain control. "This is all a misunderstanding." "Surely you weren't." I cut in. "Escorted to the service entrance like staff. Because your soon-to-be mother-in-law assumed anyone like me couldn't possibly belong here." Elaine Wayland stiffened. "I didn't know that I was the one underwriting the discounted contract your company begged for last month?" I said, her eyes widened, "And no, I haven't approved it yet." A ripple of shocked whispers spread across the room. Serena stepped toward me, her voice shaking. "You're really doing this now? At my engagement party?" "Yes," I said simply, "because you didn't leave me any other place to stand." My mother finally spoke. "Why didn't you tell us you bought the hotel?" "Because it didn't matter to you," I said softly. "Nothing about me did, not unless it benefited Serena." A heavy silence fell. Realization flickered in my parents' eyes, not guilt, not yet, but recognition. I turned toward the crowd. "I don't want sympathy. I want clarity. I want respect. And I won't be treated like an afterthought in a building I own." Serena stepped back, wobbling. Bennett tried to steady her, but she shook him off. "You've ruined my night," she whispered. "No," I said, "I've rewritten mine." Then I faced the general manager, Michael. "Please escort any guest who can't treat the staff, or the owner, with respect out of the building." Gasps. Shock. Outrage, Elaine Wayland sputtered. "You wouldn't dare." "I just did." Security, my security, stepped forward. The party splintered into chaos. Some guests sided with Serena. Others approached me with apologies. The Waylands stormed out, their exit as dramatic as their entrance, and Serena, she collapsed into a chair, staring at me like she'd never seen me before. Maybe she hadn't. I took one last look at her. Next time, I said gently, invite me through the front door. Then I walked away, not through the service entrance, not through the back hallway, but straight out the grand front doors, my head held high, finally seen, finally known, finally done being small.